Shalom. Still preparing for Parashah Chukat, this week's Torah portion. Now Chukat means ordinance, it's a commandment. And according to the sages, they say that ordinance is something you don't question. You just obey. The reason for that is based on what I discussed yesterday about the paradoxical nature of the spiritual in relation to the physical. So we look at the spiritual concepts which are revealed to us through Yahweh's word from a physical point of view. And our reference point is nature and is our science and all the foundational knowledge we have of mathematics and whatever make us tick. And then we look at these things that are more like quantum physics. It's something new, it's something exciting. You can't really explain it, and it's difficult to comprehend, but through experimentation you see, but these things are valid, but how can it be? So now you need to challenge your paradigms, your own foundational understanding of science and maths and concepts and our modern way of thinking and our philosophies. So everything is being challenged by these paradoxes, these chukat that is in Yahweh's word. Now the red heifer is the pinnacle of the paradoxical concept that is in the spiritual. And first and foremost, what is the purpose of a red cow? Why is it so significant? And why did Yahweh choose a red cow? Why not an ox, strength and something that depicts his character? Why a cow? Why a red cow? So red, of course, is a link to Adam, Edom, Adamah, the soil, the ground, blood. What makes us human? In relation to the city of Jerusalem, it's the base level. I think it's ruby, the bottom layer, the entry point into the city, which connects and it's laid on the foundation of the physical realm. And as I explained previously, you can compare the spiritual and the physical in relation to a human body, where the head represents the spiritual, the body represents the physical, where things happen, and the neck connects the two. Now all the paradoxical things are found within the neck region, which is also depicted by the tabernacle, the temple, the sacrificial system, and the work of Mashiach. That's where Yahweh says that he uses the foolishness of a man to come up against the wisdom, which they can regard as wisdom, and he make their wisdom as foolishness, which basically they see as foolishness from their point of view. So Yahweh will use the death of the Mashiach as the most powerful action against the fallen state of his creation in order to restore it. Now, from a human perspective, you need an army. You need a Mashiach ben David. You need someone to take care of the enemies. That's very powerful, with a lot of backing, a lot of armies behind him. But he comes as a suffering servant, and he does the most powerful work through his death, not through him conquering and causing death, but him dying himself. Now the second coming, the things will be changed, and where he will conquer as the mighty army, and there will be death as a result of that. So the whole thing will be flipped on his head during the second coming. So the red heifer connects to both works of Mashiach ben Yosef, the humble servant on the donkey, Mashiach ben David, the one with the robe dipped in blood on the white horse, coming with a sword that's proceeding from his mouth, which is his two-edged sword, his word, by which he will defeat his enemies. Now, it's in the context of speaking his word, that's powerful, but also the prophetic words that has been spoken that will come into fulfillment. And what I realized in this parasha, the promises of Yahweh is the weapon or the cause of all the judgment that will come into play. Why is that? The symbolism of the Ark of the Covenant in relation to the two red heifers that will be sacrificed on the stone where the wheat harvest will take place, that depicts the work that entails the sacrifices, first and foremost, of Mashiach as the humble servant, and then the fire, the consuming fire that will burn the chaff, which is a result of the harvest, and it will also burn the oxen wagon. And the fire we read about in Revelation 20, which is Gog and Magog. So all those scenes basically pull together the first work of Mashiach, the second work of Mashiach, and the final work of Mashiach is where he will come and fight. Now, I read that this morning in Ezekiel 8, verse 1 to about 17. I think it's a whole chapter, Ezekiel chapter 8, which talks about Gog and Magog. Now, a lot of preachers, and the one I watched this morning was a YouTube video of someone who wrote a book about it. They say that Gog and Magog is currently playing off, is starting in our midst now with the things happening in the Middle East, the conflict in Israel. But they forgot to read Revelation 20, which plays Gog and Magog in the time frame after the 1,000 years. Now, when I read Ezekiel 8, to me, I see all the language there that says there was a long time where the mountains was desolate. That's 1,000 years. Where the nations will flock to and live in peace. Yes, they all went to the Jerusalem, the mountainous areas. And then Gog will come as a mighty army, and he will gather multiple armies with him, and he will be the leader, and he will fight against the nations that are in Jerusalem, who are now referred to as Israel. And Yahweh is allowing that. And then it says that Yahweh himself will then make war against Gog and his armies, and he will devour them with the plague, and there will be a great earthquake. There will be hail and fire falling down with sulfur that will consume and destroy the enemy. And the whole reason for all of that is so that they can see, this is now the nations, that Yahweh is set apart, he's holy, and that he is Yahweh. So that's the final battle, and it fits perfectly in the time frame of Revelation 20. So there's a lot of teaching out there that sort of misplace the event, because Armageddon is actually the war that happens that Ezekiel 8 refers to. After the war, the mountains will be desolate for a long time. That's Armageddon, the Great Tribulation. And then Gog will come with multiple armies to come up against Jerusalem and the nations that live in peace around the mountainous areas, which we looked at last time, which is the mountain of Ephraim. So I'll leave you with that wonderful study waiting for us this Sabbath. Can't wait to share that. And all based around Chukat, the paradoxes and the paradoxal concepts of the spiritual, depicted by the red heifer. So looking forward to sharing that. I hope you have a wonderful day. Shalom.